Welcome to the Audible Pitch Event. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's going to be a great night. I know it for a fact because I know all of these people pitching, and I know everyone in the audience is going to be supportive of them, so it's going to be fun. Let's get started. Soon. Anytime soon. There we go. So, first off, I want to start off by thanking our sponsors. The live streaming event tonight would not be possible at all without LiveX, who is doing everything to make me look as good as possible, which is pretty hard task, so great job, guys. So thank you to them. Obviously, we also want to thank our other Startup Week sponsors. So there is Bear Performance Marketing, Machine Plus, Schneider, UWGB, and Von Briesen. All of those have come on board and pledged that they are willing to help entrepreneurs, so we thank them greatly for everything they are doing to be able to provide help and assistance for entrepreneurs in the area. Of course, I'd be remiss without thanking myself, because that's what I do, and the Startup Hub, as well as the Urban Hub, which is the amazing space that we are in. This is the co-working space in downtown Green Bay. You'll be able to hear a little bit more about this when Lamar Banks, the manager of this space, comes up and tells everyone a little bit about it. One thing that I want to say to all of the people pitching tonight, this is a quote that I love. I think everyone will enjoy it too. It's, you have brains in your head, you have feet on your shoes. You could steer yourself in any direction you choose. Said by a very, very, very wise man, Dr. Seuss. Who doesn't love that, right? So remember that as you go forward. I think we're going to, I think you're heading in the right direction with everything that you're doing for your business right now, so just keep at it. The runner show tonight, so we're going to get started, which I've started already, obviously. We'll be going through the pitches. We had one cancellation due to health reasons, so we wish her the best. That is, excuse me, skipped the warm-up. Unfortunately, she came down with something and pulled herself out of the competition. I know that was a very hard decision to do, but we'll go through the process, and then at the end, we'll collect all the scores, we'll make the awards, and then we'll be networking after it, so hang around. The way the pitches work, there will be a 4-minute process. At 3 minutes, we have a good-looking young man up the back who will be waving a yellow flag, and he will be saying, you got 1 minute left. At 4 minutes, he will wave a red flag. That is my cue to come in and cut them off and do what I do best, interrupting people. Just ask all my family, that's what they tell me. Then there will be 2 minutes of Q&A by our judges. At that point, a timer will start. They'll have 2 minutes to ask any question about the pitch as it's related to the pitch. Then we'll move on to, after that, 2 minutes, I again will cut the judges off because I can, and then we will move on to a switch over between them, which will take 2 minutes approximately for the judges to write down their notes, make the scores, and sound official doing whatever they do. So I do want to thank the judges. So we have, starting on this end, Matt Buchanan from the City of Green Bay, Lisa Taylor from NWTC, Matthew Key with the mighty fine hair from Tundra Angels. Matthew and I go way back, like another brother to me, kinda, from a different country. Ahira from the Weisis Group, and Nashol from UWGB. So we thank all the judges for taking the time to come out here and help encourage the contestants. Want to remind you, we will be having online voting. One of the newest event items for this year is an online pitch contest, or online voting contest. This is a crowd's favorite. We'll be giving away $500 to whoever wins this. The voting is open now. The guys just told me it's open and ready and live to go. So make sure you're posting it on social. Go online, scan one of the 65 QR codes that we have around the building. Or if you're watching online, make sure you follow in the comments. We'll constantly be posting all of the link to be able to sign, to log in to vote. So make sure you're checking that out and make sure you're voting for your favorite. So, okay. It is time to go ahead and get started. Without further ado, we're going to start with Francis. There.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Awesome. Just want to make sure we're clicking. So, my name's Francis Salerno. I'm the co-founder and software developer at Fosmic LLC. We're doing data intelligence for digital asset funds. So, what are digital asset funds? Digital asset funds manage wealth of accredited investors and partners for generating yield in cryptocurrency markets. What do they all have in common? They buy data to generate their yield. So that's where we come in. Fosmic catalogs and aggregates data across social media networks and financial platforms, including crypto exchanges and blockchain data. Our primary data sources are Reddit and Twitter. And from there, we're tracking influencers, bots, regular users, exchange accounts, different target platforms. And I think there's supposed to be a picture here. Well, there's a picture there. So this is a small demo of our analytics dashboard. What you see here is Ethereum candles from Binance and Twitter sentiment generated for daily time series here. Looks like we're inserting individual slides here. This is an example of Axie Infinity sentiment from Reddit. And as you can see, we're getting very, very strong pre-indicators for significant pumps in the price of Axie. Let's go into the software suite for a little bit. I told you about the platforms that we're getting our data from, but I haven't told you how we're generating our time series data. The process that we use is called natural language processing, and we use this to categorize different levels of emotion and sentiment of the voices and the text content on social media. We catalog the part of speech, which is whether or not the subjectivity of the subject. So, like I'm saying, like Dogecoin is great. The subject is Dogecoin, but like sometimes you'll have tweets that are just throw in hashtags. So what our system does is ignores irrelevant data coming from these tweets. In addition to part of speech, we're doing entity recognition. That's to say that an avalanche happened. Well, I'm skiing and a massive avalanche happened. Well, you're not talking about the token avalanche. So our system ignores this irrelevant data. What do we do with all this data? Well, we forecast time series, we forecast price data and volume data across different tokens and token networks. Our business models, we have the data provider model, which is selling data as a software service platform to customers across the world. And we have the strategy partnership model, which is where we collaborate with individual asset funds in order to generate trading strategies. Fosmic and the competitors, this is a huge market. Masari, Lunar Crush, and Nansen have all launched successful funding rounds. Even this year, about a month ago, Masari launched a $35 million funding round. So this is still a huge market, is seeing a lot of investments across the world. And I really believe that Fosmic has a strong position in the industry, given our technical skills and the research that we've done. Probably can't see this roadmap very well, but we're hoping to be live alpha early Q1, and then we're launching our first fund Q4 next year. That is the plan. In the future, we're looking to get into other social platforms such as Telegram, Discord, YouTube, and GitHub, and get into traditional finance sources as well. How we grow?
That's time.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah.
As a reminder, voting is now open, so please make sure you are voting online. And now opening it up to the judges, 2 minutes.
Your NLP algorithms, are they proprietary?
Yes.
Or what is your moat here?
We have multiple NLP algorithms. We have the standard ones, and the way we've structured our database is that we have columns for each different analysis, each different sentiment analysis algorithm. So we like the simple Vader sentiment, we have columns for that. Then our transformer sentiment that we've trained ourselves, we have columns for those. So each individual sentiment algorithm, we've given it its own column.
Can I go next? Go ahead. So I guess I have 2 questions. One, which program do you use to perform your analysis, generate data? One. And second is, what's the pricing, how does the pricing structure look like? Meaning, what will the customer pay for? Like, is it going to be subscription-based or like one-time payment?
Yeah, so I'll answer your second question first, and then we'll go back to the first one. The strategy partnership model is where we would partner with individual firms, so it's not necessarily that they're going to be paying for it, it's that our system would be generating yield with them, so there would be a partnership there. And then also, as a SaaS product, that was the first model that I spoke about. So traditional SaaS product model.
Thank you.
Yep.
About 30 more seconds.
Could you just quickly summarize your marketing plan?
Yeah, absolutely. These products, they take a while to grow. We do social analytics. We can provide ourselves with the best social analytics engine for our own marketing strategies possible. So I've been attending trade shows, I've been attending things like this, and just meeting customers on a daily basis and building up our Discord. That's the plan.
Thank you very much. Round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
Before we move on to Ryan, we'll just give the judges 2 minutes. The next presenter is Ryan. He'll be talking about his aerial production business. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the Startup Hub. This is called a space filler. We're going to fill some time while the judges try and block me out. The Startup Hub is a 50,000 square foot building out on the edge of the NWTC campus. It's across from the Botanical Gardens. We are an incubator. So what we do is we have businesses come in, start their business, grow, and then move out into the business world or out into the general public area. We're a low-cost center designed for them to be able to reinvest in their business. So we help people, we provide resources, and we help them to be able to grow so that in 3 to 5 years they can leave and grow into a self-sustaining business out in the business community. expanding their business, hiring staff, and growing, and just doing what businesses need to be doing. We're an award-winning incubator. We have been around since 1987. The Startup Hub is part of the Greater Green Bay Chamber. I am a chamber employee, and everything that we do is proud work of the Greater Green Bay Chamber. All of the efforts that we do is driven by the mission of what the chamber is, and also the mission of the Startup Hub, or the goal of the Startup Hub, I should say, which is to be the front door to the entrepreneur ecosystem. We know that we are not going to be everything for everyone, and we don't want to be everything to everyone. It's just not possible. But what we want to be is when someone wants to start a business, they think Startup Hub. They know the place to go, and we have the connections to be able to connect them with anywhere they need to be for their business to be able to be successful in the area. So that is what the mission of the goal of the Startup Hub is. And we have been really successful at doing that. We are currently at almost 100% occupancy. We actually were at 100% occupancy. We have one office open right now, and that is it. Outside of that, we're completely full. We have a wait list, which is really cool. Since 1987, that has never been the fact for the incubator. So it's a really cool achievement that the Greater Green Bay Chamber has been able to do. Judges have given me the nods. They're all ready to go. So we're going to move on to Ryan. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Well, this is pretty awesome. I'm excited to be here, so thank you for the opportunity. I'm Ryan from Mulligan's Aerial Productions. I'm a videography company with a special focus on golf. And what we're trying to do here is bring the golf game to greater heights. And Mulligan's mission really is to focus on golf outing contests. So golf outing contests, dominating that market in Wisconsin. And the problem I see with golf outing contests right now currently is if you go to a golf outing and you got a putting contest and you sponsor that putting contest, nobody's going to share that on social media that Coldwell Banker sponsored this golf outing, this putting contest. So that's one problem. You don't get really good brand awareness from some of those sponsors. If you spend $2,000, just not getting the most value out of that. And then also golf outing contests, golf outings they're not selling out as much as they used to because they're not drawing in, they're not marketing those contests. So what I'm going to do is bring in. So you've all been to or remember the Ryder Cup. So that was an epic event, electric. And what I'm going to be bringing to the table here is a contest for the average golfer for the outing. So you're going to have walk-up music. You're going to have people surrounding the tee, chanting your name, and it's just going to be an electric environment. And there's going to be a big prize. Let's say there's whistling straights, a round of golf on the line, and you're up into the tee. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be excited. There's going to be a great emotion in that, and I'm going to capture it all, with the drone, and it's going to be epic, and it's going to be once in a lifetime opportunity, and people are going to remember that for the rest of their life. And then one other solution I have with this is shot tracer. On the PGA Tour, on social media, YouTube, drones and shot tracers are a constant, and it adds so much value to the game. So that's something I can deliver at golf outings, and here's an example of that. So it's great technology, and golfers want to see themselves hit the ball. So I've talked to people. I know they want this, and this is going to be a big thing. So the benefits of this, really, you're going to increase revenue for the golf course, the golf sponsors, and also the nonprofits. They're going to be greater brand awareness. So there's a win all around. And then golfers are going to come back year after year. So they're going to love this outing, and they're going to come back year after year, and it's just going to become an annual thing. Traction for me, I started my business in July of 2022. I haven't done any golf outing contests yet or anything like that. I've talked to people about it, but mainly what I've done is aerial photography and video for golf courses. I have 3 golf courses under my belt, and then 1 real estate and 2 nonprofits. So I'm just getting my experience under my belt on that, and then looking to grow a nonprofit. So the golf outing market, there's 1 million golf outings annually in the U.S. There's 1,000 plus in Wisconsin. And I'm looking to get a small piece of that. And one cool thing is the demographic for golf is 18 to 34-year-olds. And they're going to be the ones that share their experience on social media. And they're going to love this idea. They're going to be all over it. Business model expansion. I will be not primarily focusing on golf because it's the winter. Can't really do that in the winter here. So I will be expanding into construction, real estate, any clients I want to work with to kind of promote their business. I really love the video aspect. I really don't to kind of tell people's story. Sporting events, and the business model really is to get sponsors to pay for it, to promote this, and I just love that angle of working with the sponsor, and then everybody kind of gets money from it. Nonprofit would sell tickets, and they would be able to raise money from that. And then my team, so I'm the owner, but a big part of my team is my dog Mulligan. He's sales and customer service. He'd actually be at the golf outing, and he'd be selling the tickets. And so some next steps: create a website, marketing materials, contract construction for the winter, and real estate, and then solidify contracts for 2023 golf outing. So create like a dynamic commercial that I can pitch. Now I know this idea is going to take over and going to be popular. So who's just ready to step up and tee up with Mulligans?
Great job.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Very cool solution. I like how you are focused on making mundane moments on the golf course magical. Question I had on, can you talk to me about the business model and who are you selling to? It sounds like it's funded by sponsors, but are you selling to the golf course? Can you kind of talk through that process of the business model?
Yeah, so my idea is really, because it's hard to connect with all the sponsors, I'm going to be, focus on the sponsors, but also there's 400 plus golf courses. I'm going to really kind of get them to also kind of sell it. So I'll give them a percentage to say, if you can sell this, upsell this to the golf outing or that, then you'll get a portion of that. And really kind of, if I'm looking at a nonprofit, I'd probably be $3,000, $5,000 golf outing, kind of look at, pricing it where I'm guaranteed to get money. They can upsell the tickets. So there's so kind of working out that way where I with these annual golf outings, I can guarantee revenue year after year. Then I can see that model where I'm not chasing it. So you really will kind of leverage my relationships with golf courses. It's a little bit easier because say Make-A-Wish has 6 golf outings, that's great, I can talk with them, but say Brown County Golf Course has 10 outings, I want to just focus with the golf course. I don't want to be having to reach out to all the different nonprofits. So that's kind of how I'm kind of approaching that.
Real quickly, you said one of the parts of the solution was that people would be chanting your name. Are you going to bring the crowd in too, or how does that work? How are you envisioning that happening?
So if it's a smaller golf outing, we would pump in some of that music, but if it was like a bigger outing, you'd have 144 people around, and nobody would be ahead of the tee box, so it wouldn't be lining the fairway, so there wouldn't be any liability of somebody getting hit. But there's ways. If there's a 20-person golf outing, maybe it's a little bit more challenging. But I think I could do something to kind of make it fun with any number of people. And with my contest too, I would actually offer my videography services. If they were going to Whistling Straits, I would go with them and video it, so it entices people to kind of want to get that package. It's something definitely unique and different to the table.
All good on questions?
Can I add one?
Sure.
Great presentation, Ryan.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about your cost structure?
Yeah, so the cost really is pretty minimal. There's a lot of software subscriptions costs that I have with editing, but really the equipment that I've invested in is the drone. I have other cameras and video, but really the overhead on this or the cost is pretty low. It's just kind of my time, other than depreciating those assets over a period of time. With this kind of event, I wouldn't need to invest in a $10,000 drone. I just have a $1,500 drone, so I would probably add some more equipment. I would invest in that. I would invest in some other stuff, but really the cost is pretty low from that standpoint. So where I would be able to want to have the sponsor pay for the gift, but I would at first kind of offer up part of my cost would be the prize, maybe $500 round of golf, so that I can get into these events so that's kind of my cost. Yeah, it's pretty small. So I'd be a pretty big profit margin if I was charging $5,000 for a corporate golf outing. And I've seen what I worked I'm 41 years old, so I've been golfing since I was 4. So I know the golf market. That's my biggest strength, and I know what people want in golf because I see it on social media and YouTube. So I know people are going to want this. I've talked to people, so that's what I'm excited about because I think it's going to be big.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it.
So we're going to give the judges a couple minutes. I'm going to have Lamar come up and tell you a little bit about the Urban Hub, the beautiful space in downtown Green Bay that we're in.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lamar Banks. I oversee this space that we're in. The Urban Hub opened in 2019, well, was rebranded in 2019 and officially opened in 2020. As you probably would have guessed, it closed right away, so really couldn't get anyone in here. In 2021 of May, it reopened, and at that time, I think there were about 5 or 6 tenants, kind of like the ones who actually helped us get this place off the ground. So, of course, thank you to them. Without the kind of earlier people in the space, we wouldn't have been able to really draw some of the others. Currently at the time, I think we have about 24, 25 tenants. A lot of them are companies, startup companies. It's a mixture of freelancers and work from home professionals. And that's one thing I really do love about the space, because I think, when you think co-working space is geared towards people who need to start businesses, but that's not the case. It's really a space for the community. So one of the things I'm tasked with is overseeing this and getting tenancy, raising tenancy, having events like this, organizing programming, and really educating the entrepreneurs in our area. So I do that through different types of programs like 1 Million Cups, coffee breaks, which involve subject matter experts coming out the community and really educating our entrepreneurs. And then, of course, accelerator programming, which is one of the things that I think is really useful for an early stage company to really get that dedicated mentorship, learning, and then in some cases funding. It's great. We ran a program like that last year called the Blueprint, and we really found that we have an ecosystem that is hungry for a program that is going to take them from idea to MVP, really help them create products. And it's really cool to have like companies like Headway and Titletown Tech and just some of the product development personnel, because I think having those people here in our ecosystem can really better mentor the people who want to start businesses. I could go on a little longer. I think I'm done, but
you're done.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. So moving right along, onto the next pitch, we will be having, coming up on the screen, Adriana with the Bracelet Brigade. So round of applause.
Hello, my name is Adriana Boson, and I am representing the Bracelet Brigade. A little bit about me: I'm currently a junior at UWGB, and I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's in social work and psychology. Some qualifications that I have a lot of experience with working with kids, and I've been a CNA at Bell and Psychiatric Center for about 2 years now, and this past summer I was a camp counselor for children experiencing trauma. So children that came were kids who lost their parents in service, kids whose parents are incarcerated, and also children who are experiencing domestic abuse. And the Bracelet Brigade, what I wanted to become is a statewide level nonprofit organization. Right now in UWGB, I have established the organization as an organization dedicated to improving the greater Green Bay area through service by selling handmade cotton string bracelets and donating the revenue to diverse nonprofit organizations that will give back to the Green Bay community. There's one of our members, but the Bracelet Brigade really prides itself in valuing 4 key values, which are community service, leadership opportunities, building a sense of community, and also encouraging mental wellness in students. So my why did I create this nonprofit that involves bracelets? And it's all because of my friend Jose, who passed away 3 years ago on this day to suicide. And he really inspired me to help those who are experiencing depression or ideas of suicide. And I have brought that to Bell and Psychiatric Center. Those are 2 patients that I really connected with. And I taught them how to make these bracelets. And they told me that this is something that they're really interested in. And one of the girls there, she said that she wants to live to make bracelets, which was enough for me. So my plan, My goal is to impact as many kids and adolescents as I can, but my plan is to expand this Bracelet Brigade organization and impact the lives of not only them, but more people in my community. So the problem is all of the nonprofits within the area are suffering. Where there's the inflation, post-COVID, there's not as many employees, they can't outreach to the audience that they want. So our goal is to sell the bracelets, and then the accumulated revenue that we get from the bracelets, we're going to have the Bracelet Brigade members decide where they want those profits to go. So that's how we're going to donate to the nonprofits within the community. And the market. For the Bracelet Brigade, I wanted to make sure that nonprofits and also the jewelry industry was growing, and both of them are. It says that in 2020, the nonprofit market for organizations was $253 billion and is projected to reach $345 billion by 2027, and the jewelry market is also just as big, with it costing $249 billion in 2021 and is expected to grow at a rate of 8.5% in 2030. Those are some charts to demonstrate kind of how the markets are projected to increase. Marketing and growth. So my plan is to bring the materials of bracelet making to these schools and have the schools establish the organization within their schools and have the members make the bracelets. And then once they have accumulated enough bracelets, we're going to sell them in the community, so at local coffee shops or local small businesses to get our name out there. And once those bracelets are sold, bring the money back to the high school, middle schools, and have the students decide where they want that money to be allocated, because I find with their values and everyone's diverse thoughts about where they want the funding to go, it can reach a greater audience. That's just kind of like a vision board of how I want to present the bracelets. So at local coffee shops such as Kavarna, the Daily Buzz, even Gandridge Chevrolet, those are really community-based organizations, and I believe that we can do something with them. Yeah.
That's time. Judges, any questions?
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Just a quick question on your initial funding. Where will your initial funding come from?
Sure. So we ask members to give a $5 payment on admission to the group. Currently at UWGB, every member has paid a $5 fee, which has allowed us to buy different string and different organizational stuff that we need to organize meetings and kind of hold that safe space. So, yeah.
Thanks for sharing your heart. Amazing. I mean, the confidence in getting up here that same day that your best friend passed away. I mean, wow. Kudos. I don't know if I could do that. Have you considered moving from a nonprofit model to a for-profit model? I think of the company Tom's, which sells kind of those sandals, for lack of a better word. I know there's a fancy name for them, Tom's. But basically to kind of, instead of, I know a nonprofit's one direction, but selling something like this, or maybe even multiple products beyond bracelets, that you can still kind of give back in that way too. Have you considered something like that?
I have not considered that, just because I am really focusing on the community outreach. I wasn't interested in making this organization for profit. So maybe in the future it could be something for profit, but right now I just want to impact my community as much as I can. So.
Yeah, thank you. I think your passion for this project really shone through. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. I have kind of a follow-up to Matthew's question here. And, you know, there are a lot of nonprofits that you could also be serving through this, right? So the students are picking the nonprofit. Have you thought about reversing that model and thinking about how nonprofits might want to leverage, you know, the work that your members are doing to do their own fundraising?
Yes,
right?
definitely.
And then pay you for the proceeds of the sales.
Yes, I actually went to a networking event these past 2 weeks at Lambeau Field, and I talked to different businesses and asked them if they were interested in sponsoring our group, so that these girls and boys can make these bracelets to impact the community more. So I have already tried to make those businesses interested, and I actually have one business interested in investing, but I still have to work out the kinks. So yeah. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you. So before we have Cody come up and talk about Rebook Travels, just want to touch base about Startup Week. So Startup Week is where we are right now. Startup Week is designed to really make sure the collaboration between entrepreneurs exists and is strong. Startup Week wouldn't happen without a great deal of partners throughout the entire community. One of those partners being Headway, which they're in the audience right now, so a huge round of applause for Headway, because they've been huge in helping us and making Startup Week happen for Green Bay as well as the entire state. So if you haven't or don't know what they do, check them out online. I might convince Andrew to come up in a few minutes and talk a little bit about Headway. But Startup Week is really designed for collaboration and making sure that every entrepreneur gets engaged. Through Headway, there's a fantastic new website that's out and about, joinkinetic.org. Joinkinetic.org. Is it .org.com? .com, sorry. So joinkinetic.com. Check it out. That is where all of the events for the entire week are listed. There are events throughout the entire region and across the entire state. So no matter where you are, you'll be able to find some kind of event that will be able to suit your need and really help your business grow. We have events on site at the Urban Hub all day tomorrow as well as on Thursday. Tomorrow night there's High Tech Happy Hour, which is a partnership with a few organizations. It is at LiveX's corporate office in downtown Green Bay in the Rail Yard District. If you haven't signed up to attend, sign up to attend. It is 100% free. It is a networking event, so make sure you're checking it out. Would love to see you guys down there. So now continuing on, we'll have Cody come up and talk about Rebook Travels.
Thank you. All right, hi, I'm Cody Kirchman, and I'm here to pitch and present my business, Rebook Travels, or Rebook for short, which is a service designed to never have you miss a way to save on booked travel. Now, real quick, just to get a little fun from the audience, to get some engagement here, can I get a quick show of hands of who all booked or took a trip last year in 2021? We'll say everybody, that's good. So in 2021 alone, almost just over $5.8 trillion was spent on the global travel and tourism industry. And if we break that down a little bit further, we're able to find that the average American is booking 1 to 2 trips per year and spending about $4,000 towards their travel fund. Now, what if I can tell you that Rebook can help you save money and bring that total dollar amount down? A little bit about myself and a little bit of my background. I've had the opportunity to travel for business all across the US, but it's always been the personal and leisure travel that has always been most memorable. As I've gotten the opportunity to go to new places, new cultures, but it was during 2020, while stuck at home, cooped up at home, unable to travel, that the idea for Rebook Travels was created, where specifically we began tracking and monitoring some of our own booked travels every single day after we had booked, and would find that some of these travel reservations that we had booked were lower. So for the exact same reservation that we had just booked a mere days, weeks, or months ago. And so what we would do is we would cancel and rebook. And so when we began doing a little bit more research and focusing in on this problem a little bit further, we were able to identify that consumers are actually, the average consumer is typically booking their travels anywhere between 1 to 6 months in advance of their trip. And they're failing to recheck if the price ever lowers. So here we are having consumers book a big ticket item or a bucket list destination months in advance and are failing to ever recheck the price or the cost or the points or the miles if they ever go down. So what really changed the scope and the landscape of the industry is, and really the mentality and the mindset of the idea, is that was because of COVID. So because during 2020, some of the major travel companies within the industry began updating their travel policies for canceling to be much more consumer friendly and to benefit the consumer in the event anything changes, such as plans. And because of the dynamic pricing that's in play, which is the pricing model used by the travel companies that sets pricing based on supply and demand, we began noticing that the costs and prices for these hotels and these flights and these rental cars were fluctuating and going up and down all the way up until the point of the reservation starting. And so that's where Rebook really comes into play. So Rebook will monitor and track the reservation after it's booked at the price points or miles that it's secured at, and will notify you if something cheaper or lower becomes available and help you obtain and capture all the savings. And for the consumer, or in this case, the traveler, Rebook will do all the work for them. So providing them with the convenience and the peace of mind, knowing that they're going to be able to book their trip, whether it's still 1 to 6 months in advance, and just continue to keep it on autopilot, knowing that they're going to get the lowest cost regardless, and they'll never have to do any of the work themselves or ever have to do any of the overthinking themselves. These are 2 pictures on the slide here that are real-life examples of some of our friends' travels this past summer that we were able to track for them and monitor for them, and we were able to help them go back and rebook and get them, in this case, points and miles, a significant, considerable amount of savings that they're going to be able to use and put towards future travel. At the end of the day, life gets busy sometimes, and we might not always have the own ability to go back and check and double check these things our own selves. So that's where Rebook comes into play. So why not get set up today and to never miss a way to save on book travel?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Any questions, judges? And I want to remind you, voting is open. Make sure you're voting online. Scan the QR codes online, click one of the links, so make sure you are voting for audience choice. Judges?
Great presentation.
Thank you.
What is your revenue model? How will you generate revenue?
So we're still in the proof of concept mode right now. So we're continuing to evaluate our options on that. We're looking at a couple of different monetization models to figure out what would be the best one, whether it's a subscription service, so consumers saying, hey, I'm going to pay a monthly fee and continue to have you guys track for me, which I think is at this point going to be the most likely way to proceed, but it's still being defined at this time.
Have you had customers use Rebooked? I know the 2 on the screen. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, the customer side?
Yeah, so we are currently using a prototype today, so we're able to build our own form just on Google that we're steering all of our customers to today. We do have a domain. We did earlier this summer have a website. We did take it down just so that we could focus on a couple of other things. Life sort of got in the way a little bit. But within the next 30, 60, 90 would be to focusing on relaunching the website, hopefully having a graphic artist being able to really kind of update the website in a way that makes it just more consumer friendly.
Service. I've never heard of anything like this before. Are there any competitors that offer something similar? And if so, how do you differentiate yourself?
Yeah, great question. So within the research that we've done thus far, we have noticed that there are a couple of competitors within the industry, specifically from a B2B standpoint. So large companies working with other large companies to manage their T&E budgets. And so for ourselves, as we look to figure out ways of how do we differentiate, how do we scale, that's where we think at this point right now staying as a B2C and focusing on ways just outside of cost where we can then include points and miles that the consumer has with their loyalty programs will come into be a big play to help differentiate.
Thank you. So while the judges go through and tally up their scores, I'm going to have Andrew from Headway come up and tell you a little bit about Headway. I'm excited for this because everyone needs to know a little bit more about it and what they do, and I think they're a huge advocate for entrepreneurship. So round of applause.
Thanks, Ron. Yeah. So Headway is a digital product agency. We're just one building north here. We started in Green Bay want to say 7 years ago, just over 7 years ago, and started with 4 people. Our team is now 40, and we work with clients all over the world, actually. So we've been able to really, we started on the coast, started with remote work. We have about 10 people here in Wisconsin. The rest of our team is distributed throughout the US in New York, Florida, California, and a few other places. But we help companies start up and then go from 0 to 1, build their MVP, scale their product, and then help them install systems that help them scale their team and their product faster over time. And so we're also the organization behind Startup Wisconsin and Startup Week, and so really appreciate Ron and Lamar and the Chamber and everybody collaborating here. A lot of other organizations kind of bringing the startup events and programming to light. So thank you to the entrepreneurs pitching today, and good luck, and really inspiring stories, and reminds me of when we started up 7 years ago with an idea, and a lot of kind of runway in front of us. So excited to be here for the week, and hope to see kind of everyone throughout. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. So, again, now moving on, Alexander from On the Concrete.
All right, you'll have to excuse me. I'm not usually a man of few words. So I'm Alexander Graziano, co-founder of From the Concrete Entertainment. The name From the Concrete, based on the poem by Tupac, is about beautiful things growing in adverse circumstances, a symbol and a message that can stand the test of time and inspire old and young generations alike. Now, that is what our company is about, using stories to inspire. It's not just about our story, it's the story of Green Bay, the story of Wisconsin. It's about countless artists and creators throughout the state who deserve the opportunity to touch more lives. That is what our company is doing. With the 6 TV series scripts that my co-founder, Con Carter, wrote, we've ensured that not only do we have mass marketable stories, but we will be able to provide opportunities in those stories to help local artists and creators get national attention. The 3 main problems that our company will address that coincide with our 3 target markets. First, streaming services, the one paying for the scripts, and they're looking for ways to set themselves apart from the ever-evolving world of streaming. Second, the consumers, who are growing frustrated with having too many options. But in the age range of 15 to 35, the majority of those consumers choose content based on suggestions from friends and found on social media. After all, we live in the age of the influencer. And lastly, the state of Wisconsin needs a bit of a rebrand. Now, I'm not going to name the show that recently put Milwaukee on the map again, but needless to say, we believe it's time that we tell the stories of our state's past and its future. Our solution is to create more competition at the writing level by empowering the writers of stories to step a bit further into the spotlight. In doing so, we can demand better content. We'll be able to highlight not just the stories of typically underrepresented groups, but we'll also be able to highlight the lives of those storytellers. This will encourage stories from more diverse perspectives, and it will allow the next generation to see the possibilities for themselves in this industry more and more. This self-oiling machine benefits streaming services because if the storytellers are more well-known, then the word of their content will spread further and keep consumers coming back to that platform. Our value proposition, our stories inspire action, empower storytellers, and set the stage for the next generation of artists. So here's how we're going to do this. Utilizing the 6 series scripts that my co-founder wrote, we will sign a contract direct to a streaming service. With WGA guidelines, these are some modest estimates of what those can go for, but when bundling them together, those prices can go a lot higher. Now, we know our scripts can fetch these amounts because of the 3 out of the 6 that we've shopped around. We've had significant interest on each and 2 offers. After signing, we'll begin production on 1 series at a time to slowly build up the necessary infrastructure here so that we can support these big projects long term and continue to provide local opportunities to the local artists. To further our own brand, we will expand into artist management to help develop more local and emerging talent involved in film and music. To facilitate their exposure, we'll utilize the opportunities that will be available in our productions. Partnering with artists and creators will provide future commissions for our company, but more importantly, it will increase the awareness of our company as one that puts artists and stories first. While we've made the necessary connections we need in order to sell our scripts, we can further drive up the price and the demand by forming coalitions with artists and creators. This proves to these national and global streaming services that we aren't simply 2 guys with a couple scripts, but that we represent so many talented individuals who are the right ones to bring these stories to life. By doing this, we enhance our social media presence, which in turn encourages more artists to join our cause. It also helps build the demand for our content before it ever hits the screen. Presently, our needs are at 50,000, but over the next 6 months, we'll grow to about approximately 250 because by that time, we will sign with a streaming service and we'll need a full-time team to help with social media, artist management, and production assistance. Who we are, myself, I was lucky to find my purpose early, which is to help others find and fulfill theirs. Con Carter, or as the late and very great Wisconsin legend Herb Kohler called him, GB Boy, well, he's the heart and soul of this city and the best dang storyteller of tomorrow. And last but not least, the why. A strong and growing community needs a strong creative industry, and creativity starts with a story. One show can bring over 1,000 jobs and lead to an additional $25 million in local revenue. The next generation of leaders are growing up in more content and technology than ever before, and we believe it's time that we bring some of these opportunities here to the city and state that we're proud of. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Well done. Any questions?
Very cool, man. Great vision, very cool. Can you help us understand a little bit more about how it influences the city here? Like you're bringing like a movie, it's like a kind of a, just thinking practically, like is it like you guys get a movie contract, you kind of bring kind of like the movie set and stuff like that, like movies being filmed in Green Bay? Help me understand that a little bit more.
Yeah, so what we're doing is waiting to sign with the right streaming service that's going to allow us to choose the production companies of our choice, and we'll utilize the companies that are in and around Wisconsin. So we'll have to bring outside crews and kind of a talent from those larger hubs, but we'll hopefully build up that infrastructure over time and bring those opportunities here.
You mentioned kind of supporting a whole community of writers and artists. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you would onboard these artists other than, you know, your current team?
How we would onboard, I guess one of the biggest things, so with our shows, these are shows that are going to require teams of writers to complete. So after starting this, we'll have a showrunner for each of these shows, and then we'll develop a whole team of people with diverse perspectives and opinions that can also contribute to those stories.
Any final questions, judges?
Just a quick question: Is this the revenue model? It seems like it's project based. Am I understanding that, or is there kind of a reoccurring nature to the revenue?
I would say currently it's product based, but as we can expand and bring more artists in, that's where the artist management piece comes in. Then we can continue to do this more and more and create more stories. We hope to create a culture of storytelling here. So, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So while the judges tally up their scores, I just want to touch base on a couple things. First off, when I told the contestants earlier that we have a fairly wide reach audience watching online, my brother just messaged me. He's watching online from Australia. Just for reference, it is freezing cold here and snowing, and in Australia it is currently 86 and sunny, so love it. And he also told me I'm speaking too fast and no one can probably understand me, so I will slow it down. Thank you, Daniel. Bear Performance Marketing, I just want to highlight them. They came on board this year. They actually supplied the banners for the Startup Hub, as well as they've supplied our shirts, a bunch of other items. A fantastic organization, local. They have a lot of entrepreneur packages that they do for small businesses and startups to be able to help out and get the pricing low and be able to be competitive for entrepreneurs so that entrepreneurs can afford the same things that the large companies can. Marketing items can be expensive, but Bear Performance Marketing has been able to help out and lower their costs. So that's a huge thing, so thank you to them. And then I'll touch base on Machine Plus. Machine Plus is an awesome story that started at the Startup Hub. They're a graduate of the Startup Hub. They've now moved out. They have a custom-built facility in De Pere, which is a huge center. They went from a 1,000 square foot space at the Startup Hub to a 2,000 square foot space at the Startup Hub, to a 3,000 square foot space at the Startup Hub, and then they outgrew that because we had no more space for them, and they moved out and now have a huge facility out in De Pere. I believe they've got about 20 employees, 25 employees, and business is fantastic for them, and they re-engage and reinvest with entrepreneurs. They have approached me several times about re-engaging with the entrepreneur community, so a huge shout out to them. So thank you for Machine Plus and Bear for coming on board this year. So now moving on to the next one. Star Marie with Eliza.
Thank you. Sagoli Yuntiadas Nolets Nyungets Onioteaga Ni. My English name is Eliza Skenador, and I'm here representing Star Marie Native Gifts. And I started this business so that I can share my passion of learning my culture. Many were not as fortunate as me to grow up learning our culture through colonization and boarding schools and generational trauma. They haven't been able to pass their culture and language to their children or even their grandchildren. And so our Oneida community right now is down to 2 fluent speakers, and there aren't many that are teaching it. Our culture is very important. It is who we are. It makes up who we are as individuals, and instills values in us, and it's nation building. It's nation building for the Oneida community and Native communities all over the United States. How I share what I've learned through my lifetime is through culture presentations, and each culture presentation I bring on a hands-on display, and what that hands-on display does is it makes it more real and it creates a memory. And so each of my presentations have like different items that I bring that represent our culture. I also do presentations for youth groups, and with youth groups there's like add-ons for crafts or other activities. And then my most popular one, and the one that I've been doing the most, is my beading classes. This is something that I'm very passionate about. And then our target audience is schools, universities, and other institutions such as libraries, and including like school groups and clubs and such. And what we are doing is kind of sharing our culture with both within the Oneida Nation and other Native communities, but also with the general public, so that they can use these presentations for diverse training and different outreach. We also sell products, including beads and supplies, and so after I do like a beading course, then they have the option to shop afterwards. And so we kind of hit both that mark, is that a lot of people in our community would learn how to bead, but then there was nowhere to purchase the supplies afterwards. And so when I set up for a beading class, I will have my displays, my supplies there so that they can shop afterwards. And sometimes beading is not for them, and so I also sell products for those who are not, it's not their niche. And then I also do my own digital work. I'm self-taught. I actually learned through when I was an intern at Oneida Nation Museum, and I got to study the collection of raised beadwork and other beadwork styles while I internshipped. I was actually going to school for multimedia, and I fell in love with the raised beadwork. And then also through art grants, I've been able to study beadwork at other institutions, and I received a art grant to go to the Minnesota Historical Society, and I got to study their collection. And then also learning through trial and error and creating my own patterns. New movement, through 2020, I actually got to offer my first online beading class. So I shipped them beading kits, and then we met over Zoom. And then since then, I've been able to do classes through Microsoft Teams, another thing called Discord, and then also through Twitch. So I also stream on Twitch and teach culture, and I work on my projects through Twitch also. And then I also do all my own digital media and with my background, and so everything's done in-house. And then it's me and my husband. My husband has an accounting background and is pretty much everything in the background, and then I'm everything customer service and with the culture and everything. Our funding needs is marketing. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Judges, questions?
Question. Thank you so much for sharing this. Have you thought about how to bring in more people from your community to grow the teacher side of things?
Yes. Yeah, we were thinking of being the kind of the hub for and bringing in other culture teachers, and whether their skills might be through harvesting corn or harvesting the wild rice, and being like the main hub of culture learners. So yeah.
I love that you went virtual via Zoom in the pandemic. I thought you were actually going to say, and the pandemic kind of shut us down, but here I am again now. But like the fact that you kept the momentum, very cool.
Yes.
How, I might have missed it, but how do you, can you walk through the revenue model on the selling your products?
Well, currently we've done everything through social media. We're starting a new launch and creating e-commerce and creating a website. So from here, we've only done sales through social media, word of mouth, and through the community. And right now we are taking pictures of all of our inventory and creating a new SKU system so that we can do e-commerce on our website. So we're doing different, we go through Wix for our web hosting, and so we're starting to create that model too.
And then when you sell your products, how much do you sell them for typically? $10, $15, or kind of?
My biggest seller, and why it's our biggest seller, is because it takes me 15 minutes and it is $15. And so I pump those out while I'm watching Netflix, while I'm in a meeting, and just kind of on the side. And then my bigger projects, like the one that I'm wearing, would run around 600. So.
I might need a new side hustle. Interesting.
Yep.
Any last questions?
Can I ask one last
Sure.
question? Thank you very much for allowing me this last question. Can you tell me about what percentage of your revenue is generated through online sources versus what percentage of your revenue is generated through your face-to-face sources?
Most of it, we're probably about maybe 20% in person versus selling through social media. So the e-commerce will very much bloom this, all our products, and being able to bring our customers back in somewhere in Hub rather than always having to message them in Facebook Messenger and sometimes getting messages at 2 in the morning and stuff like that. So the e-commerce will help a lot to bring new customers and returning customers also.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. And while the judges finish up, again, I want to highlight two other of our sponsors. First off, from Breeson. They are a fantastic law firm in the area. They're statewide, but they have a lot of entrepreneur experience and a lot of focus on entrepreneurship. So I have used them greatly as a resource for a lot of the businesses I consult with, and they're always willing to go above and beyond for any small business that reaches out to them. They're not going to nickel and dime you. They don't charge like a wounded bull. They are just there to be able to provide help and resource for you. So check them out online. They're in downtown Green Bay in the 300 block, so they're just down the street from the rail yard district. So check them out. Fantastic local resource, able to help out a lot of small businesses. So I personally use them. They are fantastic guys, girls that work there. Really great. And then UWGB. For those that don't know or aren't familiar with UWGB and their entrepreneur side of things, they are really, really huge in the entrepreneur scene. A lot of people don't think of UWGB as the place to go for entrepreneurship, but their program is pretty amazing. So if anyone is interested in entrepreneurship as a major, you should definitely check them out. You can find all the information on their webpage on uwgb.edu, correct? So check it out online. I think it's even /entrepreneurship, I believe is the actual page direct to it. So check it out, uwgb.edu/entrepreneurship. You'll be able to learn more about their programming and what they have, and some of their professors that they have on there. Fantastic. So now we'll have Cody come up and talk about CK Innovations.
Well, thank you for coming. Welcome, and my name is Cody Ellens. Here to tell you a little bit about my company, CK Innovations, and my yet-to-be-named invention. I'll call it the bib fastener for now. So here's a bit of an outline that we'd like to get through. I'm a mechanical engineer by background and currently work at Kohler Company as a project manager. Previous co-founder of a startup, have a number of patents to my name, and a proud husband and father of 4 kids here. When my wife and I first started having our kids, we realized that we spent a lot of time cleaning up at mealtimes. So, you can get the food in between the bib and the chair and the tray, and there's food all over the place. It's a messy job. And my wife and I are both type A personalities, so we were trying to figure out, is there something out there that can help with this? Sure enough, there is. There's a lot of products out there, actually, but most of them are ineffective, and they have a lot of problems with them, or they're cumbersome to use. And if they're cumbersome to use, eventually you're not going to use them. Got me thinking about a new product. It's basically an adapter that would connect to the bib and then also to the tray or the table in front of you. And what it does, it allows you to, any spills or any messes that are dropping down onto the bib are going to land on the tray. It saves an immense amount of time cleaning up, and it's patent pending. Here's some other benefits. It's really just a simple product. It's easy to put on and take off. It saves ample time cleaning. Laundry is way less laundry, and who doesn't want that? Furthermore, it saves a lot of food waste. So if you're making your own baby food or you're buying expensive baby food, here's another way that you can use it all. Target market, obviously, parents, grandparents, maybe even daycare centers. The baby product market is a big market. $38 billion in 2021, $370 million about in high chairs alone. What we'd like to do with this product is advertise through social media and maybe target influencers, online advertising through Facebook or Google. Be looking at producing a small amount of these products and then getting it out there, doing some more market research through our e-commerce website. I estimate about $15,000 in startup costs for a combination of tooling, inventory, packaging, shipping, handling, marketing costs in there too. Obviously, any economic model, you're going to have to make assumptions. So with the model that I have, I'm projecting positive cash flow in about 7 months. So the model goes for 12 months, and within that model, I'm purchasing about 12,000 units, selling about 9,400 at $20 a piece. Gross margins are pretty decent, around 70. Revenue is 5 times greater than cost of goods sold. The next steps, I'd love to win this competition and use the money for prototyping, market testing, and developing relationships with manufacturers. I've reached out to a number of them already. I'm on my 7th prototype. The first ones are still in use. I developed them back in January 21. My twins are using them. And the problem with those ones is that they're not adaptable to every single high chair. So that's what I'd like to do with these next revisions. Obviously scale production and begin other business development ideas. I have a ton of ideas. So here's a bib clip in action. And yeah, would love for you guys to ask more questions and learn more about this.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Okay, so I've got a 1-year-old in a high chair that basically looked like that baby on slide 3 with the spaghetti on top. But I am like, I should have texted my wife, wow, I found it. We found the product that we need during your pitch, but I didn't want to be distracting to you. Let's see, question around how does it, like, does it work? Like, how well does it work? I get the vision, I see the kids happy and smiling, but like, are the parents happy and smiling too? Or are they, how does that work?
I've been using it since January 2021. I have 4 kids, and we just, all of a sudden one night I woke up, I'm like, we got to do this. And so I went to the hardware store, built the prototype. So I'm using the prototype. The problem is the prototype doesn't adapt to every single high chair manufacturer. So I'm making a universal model that's going to do the same thing, but work on different high chair manufacturers. That's the goal. Yeah, saves a ton of time.
I have a follow-up as a unhappy mom there
Okay.
because my 2-year-old, who's now 2, has never worn a bib.
Okay.
Right? She refuses to.
Yeah.
That's an aside. My real question is, can you expand a little bit more on how you would differentiate your product with some of these other ones that you've shown, right? Because there's other
That's
ones
great.
that kind of wrap around the
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
so
I
what
think
is the value you're
that's-
really adding?
That's a great question. So if you saw in some of those photos or those pictures, a lot of the products out there are, you have to buy something new, right? You have to buy a new high chair, or you have to buy a new bib, and if your kids are getting that bib all messy, then you have to put it in the laundry, so you have to buy another one. So this product adapts to your existing bib and high chair, so you use your existing products. And the other thing is that there's no product out there that does the adaption method. A lot of these are big trays or bibs that cover the whole area, and they don't really get to the root of the problem of keeping the food on the tray.
Sorry, just so to clarify, so you're not actually, that bib is not your bib.
No,
It's-
so I purposely didn't put a picture of the invention in there. I'm on revision 7. It's kind of behind the scenes, right? It's holding the bib behind the bib, so you'll never see it in real life unless you're attaching it to it. So I'm not inventing the bib. I have the adapter or the clip that's holding it in place. Yeah.
So quick follow-up, your patent is for the adapter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a patent yet. It's patent pending. It's a provisional patent, but yes.
Have you tried selling it? Like, for example, even not even selling it, but just getting market feedback from 100 parents. Would you buy something like this?
So that's a great question again. If we have people over in our house, we'll show it to them and they love it. So I've not manufactured more of these yet. That's why I want to get this prototype out to do a little bit more market research. Maybe I build 20 of them and give them out to family and friends, get feedback, make sure it's the right product, and then go from there. Yeah.
Thank you, Cody.
Thank you.
So this is a 7th inning stretch, we'll call it. So judges have a few minutes to be able to go through and do their scores. We would have had 2 more, but now we've only got 1 more. I need that. Don't forget the voting to be able to vote for people. But I want to go through, this is a conversation I had with a friend of mine talking about the most celebrated holidays, and we're talking about Father's Day, right? So the most celebrated holidays, Christmas, Mother's Day. Makes sense, right? You celebrate God and your mama. That's, like, they're pretty 1 in 1, right? So going to happen. Next, it's going to be Father's Day. It's got to be, right? Everyone, we celebrate Father's Day the next. Oh wait, no, not even in the top 5. Followed by Thanksgiving, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. Okay, it's going to be the next. It's coming up. Oh, Martin Luther King Day, Labor Day, Independence Day, Easter, New Year's Eve. What? Okay, party on a New Year's Eve. Dads, hello, where are we? Let's take top 50. What the? Not in the top 15? Hello? Who in here is a dad? Like, come on. We want to be celebrated too, right? Halloween, St. Paddy's Day, Valentine's Day, I mean, right? April Fools, people want to celebrate April Fools before their dads? Come on. President's Day, okay. Arbor Day, what's Arbor Day? Tell me what Arbor Day is. Come on, Arbor Day, plant a tree. Okay, plant a tree, really? Hey, we planted kids, come on. Cinco de Mayo, Columbus Day. Oh wait, there we are. Number 19, Father's Day, celebrated 19th. What the? Come on, people. A little bit of love for the dads too. I mean, I get Easter, I get Christmas. Who doesn't get Christmas and Mother's Day? But Father's Day, really? Okay. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting thing that I found. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. When my friend was telling me about this, it's like, no way that is even legit. But yep, sure as was. Anyway, moving aside to that little thing. We're going to have Joe come up and talk about Green Bay in a box. And this is the final pitch of the night. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. And just left and right?
Yep.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Vandenhoven. By day,
Yep.
Can you hear me better now? Okay. My name's Joe Vandenhoven. By day, night, and every third weekend, I'm a funeral director. And as somebody who comes from a profession of long history, having an entrepreneurial itch is a tough thing to scratch, I guess. So Green Bay in a Box is something that I saw 5 years ago, and I was in Cleveland. And most people don't think of Cleveland as a hyper desirable place to be. I had a friend in college whose last name was Romance. He was getting married there. You don't want to miss a romance wedding. So we were in Cleveland. It's a great downtown, and there's a huge corner store with products from local companies and companies that couldn't really afford to have their own storefronts, but they all gathered there to sell their products through Cleveland in a Box. I say to people all the time, I have friends from my school days, and I tell them you have to come to Green Bay, and you have to do it for more than a Packer weekend. You simply can't experience it. There's a lot behind the cheddar curtain, you know. So there's so many companies in town that I love and that people are very familiar with if you live here, but you might not ever reach them if you're only here visiting. For somebody who, like me, can go through a Maplewood Meats gift box in 3 or 4 days, you might not be interested in purchasing that entire thing. Same thing goes with Saruji's chocolates. A lot of these are sold business to business, but people aren't buying them for themselves. So this is something you can purchase for yourself or give as a gift. And all of these companies are local, but might not have the reach that you would expect a successful local company to have. We're already secured a spot in the Christmas market that's happening downtown Green Bay this November and December, and intend to be at farmers markets next summer. But I had this idea in 2007, and what really pushed it was the fact that there is the public market coming out. For anybody who's been to the Milwaukee public market, it's a great space. There's a lot of small, affordable spaces for people to operate, and I think rather than the giant storefront that I saw in Cleveland, this would be a really appropriate high foot traffic area to operate out of. Top left corner is one themed box. I'm calling it a tailgate box, where you have Maplewood Meats, Drift-In Chili, Locke's Finest Cheese, Saruji's, a Stadium View pint glass, and some popcorn from a local producer. Top right would be a second box that is more of a sweet tooth box. All of these companies have answered yes so far. Everybody's excited to be a part of it. So I'll get that no eventually, and I'll handle it fine. But it's just something that all of these businesses are interested in doing. Stadium View wants to get their pint glasses in as many houses as they possibly can, and a lot of these companies are looking for ways to find more exposure. Something else I've thought about, I went to school in Madison, love Milwaukee, and my girlfriend especially loves Door County. All of those things have unique products to offer, and it would be cool to have them in one space. Just to cover this bullet point, I graduated from the University of Wisconsin. I'm currently in the St. Norbert College MBA program, and again, working at Ryan Funeral Home. I work with a lot of companies, business to business, that we can't do what we need to do without their help. And there's a lot of great businesses out there that I didn't know about, even though I grew up here my entire life. Just trying to keep things at the appropriate scale. Like I said, I don't think it would be the best thing to have a giant storefront anywhere, but that space within the public market would be a really good fit for us, trying to just keep a constant flow of product, and it helps the small business, and it helps people learn more about Green Bay.
Thank you. So super interesting, Joe. I want one of those. I want the sweet tooth one. Can I have the sweet tooth one, please? I think we all want one of those. My wife and I used to Airbnb our place for Packer weekends, and we would give them sometimes the guest Captain's Walk Winery and Saruji's, and the comments always were, "I loved it, great chocolate." So I love what you're doing, kind of coalescing all that. Is the distribution model, is it, so I saw a box, we saw a box with products, but then you also talked about a storefront. Is the distribution model sort of like Green Bay in a box, and you're selling that? Can you kind of differentiate kind of what your thought there is?
I brought a box with me. It's just a gift box. I mean, a gift box isn't a revolutionary thing. It's just trying to get outreach from different companies. the Cleveland version of it, they sell customizable or packages, or they ship internationally for free to veterans, for example. I would expect to have, if you had, buying everything 48 at a time is a lot easier than doing the customizable stuff, and maybe that works when you have a storefront. But for the time being, I would imagine different, curated, themed boxes, and then they're shippable, certainly, or people picking them up at the farmer's market or at the public market would just be a really straightforward way to do that.
And is your market like local Green Bay people who maybe, I know about Surge's and Captain's Walk, but I don't know about how great the Cafe Luna is? Or is it people outside of the state, or even maybe incoming talent, say, Schreiber's looking to hire somebody, they bring them in town for a weekend to get a feel for the area, and they can serve up, hey, this is Green Bay at a box, get a taste of Green Bay?
I think it's less for people who are here. I mean, everybody's been familiar with a lot of these businesses, but you can gift it. I've been like, give the gift of Green Bay. You send it off to some, to a child who's off at school. You send it to a friend who hasn't been here before. I've been talking with a friend in the Discover Green Bay office about offering them to conference goers, or maybe the people who are planning those types of conferences. Not that you would give them out to everybody, but it's just at a price point where you can show off 5 or 6 different businesses without buying 5 pounds of sausage, which again I can do in a week, but not everybody. So, but yeah.
Time's up.
All right, thank you.
All done. Sorry. All done. So that is the final part of the night for the pitches. Now what the process is, I will go off and we'll make sure that all the scores are aligned. They'll be double checked and verified for the first and second place. And then I'll be working with the team to solidify the choice, audience or voters' choice. And we'll be coming back in about 5 minutes or so. So hang around. Make sure you stay around to see who wins, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. Hello, hello. Hello. We're going to do the results, so get ready for it, please. You can take a seat or mingle around up the back, but make sure the people pitching are over to the side so that we can announce the winners. We're going to start off with second place, then we'll do first place, and then we'll do the Voters' Choice Award. So we had a really good turnout on the Voters' Choice. We were almost at 150 votes, which is fantastic. So little old Green Bay coming out. So we're going to get started. First off, I want to thank the WBD, as well as the New North and New North Launch Alliance, or Launch Alliance, for helping fund the prize money for this event. Without them, we wouldn't be able to offer the funding that we're able to the contestants. So huge shout out to the New North and WBD. So round of applause for them. Thank you very much to Barbara Lemieux and WBD. Yeah. I'm cautious of shadows, of reflections. So in second place, for a total of $500, is Cody Kirchman from Rebook Travels. Yeah. Cody, come on up. Congratulations. Stay for a photo. Awesome. Photo up. Smile big. This will be on the news. Keep smiling. Congratulations.
Awesome. Cool. Do I give it back?
Nope, you can keep it. Take it to the bank. They love it. I'm sure it's real. Again, in first place, this small business is truly fantastic and is fresh off their win from the NWTC pitch contest about a week ago, and it is Star Marie Native Gifts. Congratulations. Congratulations again. And as part of Eliza's prize that she won for NWTC's pitch contest that the Startup Hub was a part of, she will be also eligible, or if she chooses to become a Startup Hub member at no cost for a year, she'll be able to have an office and base her business at the Startup Hub with all the resources that we have to offer to ensure her success. Now on to the final prize, which is the Voters' Choice. I just need one. Okay. So the Voters' Choice, with about 46% of the votes coming in for this winner, is Green Bay in a Box. Green Bay proud.
Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you very much to everyone for coming to watch, for supporting the small businesses, for the judges for coming out and taking the time. I know it's a huge time commitment, so we truly appreciate it. For the contestants, thank you very much. I truly hope, even if you didn't place, that you follow your entrepreneur dream. We are here to help you. Anyone in this room, you approach them and ask for help, I guarantee someone in here will always help you. So make sure you ask for help. We're here to help you, here to guide you. There's a fantastic resource. The panelists are all here. We'll all help you. Any of the entrepreneurs out there, just ask for help and we'll make sure that we can get you connected to where you need to be to make your dream a reality. Make sure you take that and run with it. So thank you again to everyone. We truly appreciate it, and have a great night and enjoy the food and drinks up the back. So